I don't know anything about CHiPs, but I'm pretty sure this was an unfaithful adaptation to that series. So, CHiPs is a modern reboot of a TV series of the same name. I'm not quite sure because I don't know anything about CHiPs. I never saw that. That was way before my time. At least I think it was before my time. Yeah, definitely before my time. Anyway, the concept is that there are some crooked cops stealing from armored trucks. Michael Pena is a FBI agent that has to go undercover into the California Highway Patrol, CHiPs. Michael Pena's character is partnered up with a rookie who is an extreme motorcyclist sports person. And that rookie is played by Dax Shepard, who also wrote and directed this movie, I learned later. Didn't know that going in, but then again I wasn't reading the credits. And what do you know, these two characters are complete opposites and have to work together in order to solve this heist and find the crooked cops. Sound familiar? Well, it's only been done 1,000 times probably. And so yes, ultimately CHiPs is your run-of-the-mill, generic, buddy cop movie with a few decent action sequences. So what did I ultimately like about the film? Well, I have to say that Dax Shepard and Michael Pena do their best. They definitely try to play characters that really I haven't seen them play before. I mean, judging from the trailer, I thought, oh, I've seen these actors play these type of characters before, but they're very different actually than I expected. Dax Shepard actually plays the straight and narrow Boy Scout type character of the two cops, which was surprising. Usually I don't see Dax Shepard play that type of role. While Michael Pena's character is the loose cannon, the one that wants to do everything by himself, doesn't really trust any partner, doesn't trust his new partner, and also happens to be a sex addict. And yeah, as we saw in the trailer, he is uncontrollable when it comes to yoga pants.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just like kind of powerless when it comes to yoga pants, you know.
Okay.
Is there double stitching on the side with a banana grundle?
A banana grundle? What's a banana grundle?
Just like wrapping on a woman's body, dude. That's what it is.
Okay. Oh, here they come.
Hey, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey.
Hey, superheroes.
Hey.
Hey, are you okay? Let's get you out of this parking lot. You have a visible erection. You think you can ride with that?
I don't know.
And there's a lot of that in this movie. Go figure. Come to think of it, Dax Shepard's character has a weakness, and it is rain, because he had all these different surgeries, and so during a rainy day, everything just becomes unbearable. I don't know, I've never had surgery or any replacements, so I don't know what that's like. But it sounds painful whenever he tries to walk in this movie, because it sounds like every bone in his body is breaking. And so I have to hand it to the actors doing something different in this movie, feeling different, and doing a decent job of it. And how the characters act and their backstory and how they differ from what you expect is definitely ironic. It does make me wonder if the whole irony was meant to be the funniest part of their characters, because here we got Dax Shepard, he's this extreme sport guy, motorcyclist, had a bunch of different surgeries, broke almost every bone in his body practically. And instead of being the sex addict, instead of being the rebel, he's the Boy Scout, wants to impress his girlfriend, who he's slowly losing because she's a bitch in this movie. He's also talking like a therapist several times whenever he's talking to Michael Pena's character.
Classic Ponchi.
Yeah.
Always deflecting.
Oh, deflecting. Why don't you stop using that word?
Do you even know what the word means?
Yeah.
Because I got a great example for you.
Okay, give me an example.
It's when a guy is super embarrassed about taking his third dump before 11 a.m., so he makes fun of his partner's shirt. Deflecting.
Okay, why are you counting how many times I go to the bathroom?
Hard to miss, man.
It's really pervy, man.
Oh, it's pervy.
Yeah.
We're on and off these bikes every half an hour so you can go in there and unload.
Why don't you drop it?
Admit it. You have something going on intestinally, and you're too proud to stop at a Walgreens or a CVS to deal with it. Is it a chronic thing, or did you eat something dicey last night?
Just drop it.
Listen, okay, don't pull away. I'm worried about you. Is there any blood?
He's definitely not what you expect from an extreme sport athlete to be like. While on the other hand, the professional FBI agent played by Michael Pena is a person who wants to do everything himself, doesn't trust partners, can't grip with the fact that the only partner he trusts is dead, and now he has to work with all these other people that can't match up to his partner, which ultimately does sound like something an FBI agent in this type of movie might feel. I think we've had that in several different buddy cop movies. But also throw in the fact that he is a total sex addict. And yeah, we get a lot of that dialogue throughout the entire movie. So much of a sex addict that it really pisses off his supervisor, his chief in the FBI, or whatever that position would be. So it makes me wonder if they were doing that just to break stereotypes, if that's what it was like in the TV show, which I don't know because I never saw any of the TV show, or they were doing that purposely to be ironic. Either way, it's not done in a good enough way where it's funny or entertaining or just, I don't know, it's just done in a very generic way, surprisingly. I think the action scenes and the car chases were adequate enough, and there was some exciting moments with it, and sometimes the comedy blended in with the action fairly well. It does go off kilter every so often when it gets really dark, and this really isn't a dark comedy, it just goes ridiculously dark. Like, there's this one moment where this heist is happening, well, not necessarily a heist, but mainly to kidnap some person that screwed the crooked cops over, and it's like, alright, you jump out of the helicopter and take your own life, or we kill your boyfriend. And the helicopter pilot, this is towards the beginning of the movie, and the helicopter pilot's like, oh, well, it's him or me, I can't let my boyfriend die. Jumps right out of the helicopter and splat right on the ground. Like, it gets ridiculously dark and serious at times, and it feels completely out of place for this raunchy, by-the-number buddy cop comedy. But with that said, the action and the car chases were pretty nice, as you'd expect. They're just not enough to really heighten the movie in a better than meh. And I do remember laughing at least one or two jokes in the movie, but I saw this movie yesterday. It's only been a day, and I can't even remember the jokes that I laughed at. I've already forgotten. So they must not have been that funny. And honestly, I do like the villain in this movie. Similar to the really dark and serious action that will pop up throughout this entire movie, the villain felt completely out of place. Now, when I saw the trailer of the film, I was worried that the trailer ruined the twist for me right then and there. Because I was worried that the movie was actually going to be a mystery, and then you figure out the villain as the characters figure out who the villain is. I was worried it was going to be like that, and when I see the trailer and it says there are some crooked cops in the department, and as soon as it says that in the trailer, it shows an actor known for being the bad guy twist in a lot of movies, or at least a lot of recent movies.
California Highway Patrol think they have some crooked cops.
Yeah, Vincent, I'm not even going to try pronouncing that last name, even though it's fairly used since he's been in a lot of movies lately. Yeah, when it shows this clip in the trailer, thankfully, it wasn't actually a twist. When you first see the cops doing a heist, he takes off the visor a little bit and you can tell it was him, and so there's no real twist at all. You learn right then and there who the bad guys are. It's just a matter of our main characters figuring out who the bad guys are. Yeah, he kind of felt like he was in a completely different movie and was going very serious villain, and actually I found him a villain that I kind of liked. In another movie he could be a fairly complex villain because he's trying to keep innocent bystanders from being killed. It's shown right in the heist at the beginning of the film, where the explosion could kill some random citizen behind the armored truck, and so he pulls her out of the way before they explode the armored truck. He also has a drug addict for a son, surprisingly played by Justin Chatwin, who you might remember was Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah, let's just forget about that. But it was surprising to see him back in a movie, even if it was for a brief moment. Surprisingly, I felt like I cared more for the villain than I did the main characters of the film. Almost made him a sympathetic villain in this movie. That's pretty much all the good for this movie. Unfortunately, all the bad really overshadows this film. First off, like I said, I laughed maybe 1 or 2 times in the entire movie. I don't even remember the jokes that I laughed at. This is a fairly standard, generic, unfunny movie, at least for me. And I didn't really care that much about our main characters. Michael Pena was trying to put charm in this character. Unfortunately, he comes off as a dick in this movie, and I never really care for the guy. And where I can understand his lone wolf persona is from his dead partner, he still comes off as a douche in this movie for the majority of the film. And Dax Shepard's character is a little too pitiful for me to really get behind, because I feel sad for the character, but he's so gullible and he really thinks he's gonna save his marriage with his wife, and it's just, no, dude, no. And while I can definitely see chemistry between these two actors, especially when they start bonding as the movie progresses, and yes, there is negative chemistry between them, which is still good chemistry, especially since they're trying to fight at the beginning of the film and don't care much for each other. I think the two actors do the best they could. Unfortunately, it just didn't pan out all that well in the movie, for me. And the story itself wasn't anything new for the buddy cop genre, and just feels like a total letdown, and just generic, by the numbers, and unfunny at that same time. There's also a lot of dirty jokes, a lot of raunchiness in this movie, and here's the thing I have about raunchiness. Sometimes I don't like raunchy comedies all that much, because the raunchiness just feels like raunchy for the sake of being raunchy, and dirty for the sake of being dirty, and it doesn't feel like it has any meaning to it whatsoever. Thankfully, when it comes to Chips, the raunchiness didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel like it was just being raunchy for the sake of being raunchy. It felt like it had a purpose, and there were some moments where it affected the plot line of the film. And so that's a bonus. However, it just wasn't funny raunchiness. It was generic, by-the-number raunchiness that felt too safe. If it was a little bit funnier, if it was more over the top and unique, then maybe I could have got behind it. There's also some really poor jokes in this movie, and just mainly from the delivery and just the execution. There's one moment where it almost feels like it's meant to be dark comedy, or just thrown in there, and just feels completely out of place and just baffling that they even added it in the movie. There's this one chase scene where they're all chasing after Justin Chatwin's character, and there's these FBI agents in an RV. It takes a turn and smacks into some pedestrians. I mean, just literally just smack. I mean, Justin Chatwin's character does that too on a motorcycle, where it smacks into someone, and you're wondering, is this supposed to be funny or shocking? Because these pedestrians could be dead. So this RV, driven by a FBI agent, takes out these two pedestrians, and he's like, oh, it's alright. They're just paparazzi. What? That's the joke? Really? Now, if this was a dark comedy, yeah, I would buy that. If this was an over-the-top, ridiculous movie, yeah, I'd probably buy it too. But this movie is trying to be funny and raunchy, while at the same time having moments that are truly dark and serious. So I don't think you can have a movie where you have these really super serious moments, and then have a cop hit pedestrians and then just joke about it and have no consequences for it whatsoever. The second joke I noticed, okay, this was really flawed in its delivery, because it really doesn't set it up all that well. Well, it does set up that Michael Pena is going to have possibly a romance with another cop in that department. They've been having some back and forth. She's obsessed with him and he's a sex addict, so he wants her. And eventually he's at home and he's going to text her. He's going to talk to her, and he starts typing in her name, and there's two names. So there is setup there. There's two names. He clicks on it and starts texting away. And so the person on the other side's like, okay, I'm going to show you my naked body. Got this whole slow delivery where it's going up the entire body until it gets to the face, and it's not the police officer he thought he was talking to. And it sets it up with two names, right? But then he goes all crazy ballistic. He's like, oh my God, and she's all sexy, and he's like, oh, and he throws the phone in the fire, and this huge reaction, which is supposed to be really funny, right? But I don't quite get why he's so upset about this, other than the fact that, oh, it's just the other girl, it's just another person. I'm like, I don't even remember who that person is. Is that an ex-lover or something? What the heck happened? Turns out, it's the chief of police. Didn't even realize that because they only show her in one scene towards the beginning of the movie. And you're expected to remember she's the chief of police. I don't even remember who the actress is. If they had more of that actress being the chief of police in scenes, then maybe I would have got the reference and why he's so upset after he accidentally texts her instead of the other cop. I mean, it becomes a whole plot point, and it's the whole reason why he gets fired from the FBI. Yeah, of course, it's by the numbers, cliche buddy cop movie where our main hero gets taken off the case, and so that's that scene. But it becomes that pivotal moment in the plot, and it's like, you had to wait till it was explained in that pivotal moment for the plot before you realize, oh, that was the chief of police? I had no freaking idea. I forgot about her. I don't think I was the only one confused in that movie theater when that scene happened. But anyway, yeah, it's by the numbers, it's generic. If you love buddy cop movies and don't care if it's the same as many others, you might enjoy CHiPs. If you're a fan of the series, you might not like this because it's different. I assume it's different. And if you've seen too many buddy cop movies and just don't like generic ones, you're not going to find CHiPs all that entertaining. But at the same time, I wasn't really offended by the movie. I didn't really hate the movie. I didn't quite like the movie. But at the same time, while I was watching it, I was right in between being bored and liking it. Like, I wasn't enjoying it enough to like it, but I wasn't bored enough to say that this was a boring movie. I was never bored when I was watching the movie. I just felt nothing for it whatsoever. CHiPs is meh, and I'm going to give it 2 stars. So, did you see CHiPs? What'd you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and check out my movie reviews of 2015, 2016, or 2017. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.